Mhm. Hi, everyone. This is Shirley from Shirley's World, and it's 1 o'clock, and it's Wednesday, and here I am. This is just a chat video. I don't have anything special going on here. Um, just wondering how everybody's doing. Hi, Karen. Just wondering how everybody's putting up with this quarantine. I really have the feeling that I'll probably never be able to go out again. I think I'll be afraid to go into stores or anything else ever again. That's how I feel at the moment. I hope it changes. But there's so many people so anxious to get out and just be normal again, and that's not how it's going to be. And if that happens, it's going to be horrible, I think. On Facebook, there was an article or a post that an ER nurse put on. She's in the front lines of this, and it was really directed at the people out there carrying signs about opening up and opening up the state and opening up everything. It was just about that they don't understand that this isn't just a flu. This is something bigger. This is something different. So I did post it. I passed it on because I think that's very true what she said. So I did pass it on. So what's everybody doing? I'm sort of running out of things to do. I could clean my house, but I don't have enough gumption to really deep clean my house. So I sweep and dust with the feather duster once in a while. Sweeping is the most important because of the dog and cat hair. But other than that, I'm not doing too much. I'm keeping my counters all very sparkling clean. I'll tell you one thing I'm doing. I'm interested more in eating. I think a lot of people are. You think I should do some art? I don't have any paints anymore, and I can't go out to buy any. I don't have any paints. I don't have anything to paint on. Yeah. Unless I have the things right here in the house, I'm sort of stuck. And you can't really order all the paints you need to do art online. I mean, there's so many different nuances of color that it's something that you build up a supply of, you know. I do have pastel pencils. I could draw, I suppose. I still do have pastel pencils. If I do, I'll show what I do. What I did do is, since I'm more interested in eating, like I think everybody seems to be saying that everybody's gaining weight. I haven't gained any weight, I don't think, but I'm just sort of more interested in cooking more. I mean, I've never really been a big time cook, and I sort of like to bake better than cook because I have a sweet tooth and I like bakery. I like cake. I like cookies, and so I almost baked a cake just from a mix the other day, but I just ran out of gumption to do it. Yeah, that's the problem. It's part of this whole anxious depression thing that happens. Yeah, I did get out my recipe book. I have this recipe book that has, you put in your old recipe cards. And I have recipe cards from my mother, from all different kinds of people. And I think at one time I went through them and I put in my favorite recipes into this book. And I was sort of looking through it. When I picked up my groceries, what was it, yesterday? Yeah, I had ordered a green pepper, just one, big green pepper. And I think I'm going to make stuffed green peppers. It'll make 2. It's only me. And so I think the filling for it, I do have some ground turkey thawed out, ready to go. And I think my mother used to make what she called porcupine meatballs. And you just make meatballs with, you mix regular rice, not quick rice, regular rice in with the ground meat or ground turkey and chopped onions and salt and pepper. That's all that's in them. And you make them into meatballs, put them in a casserole, and you pour tomato soup over it and bake it. They're very good. But that's the same filling that's the same filling I will make to be in the green pepper. I'll do the same thing. It'll just be in the pepper. So what started me thinking about that was my friend at the barn. When I took her eggs last week, she gave me a green pepper all cooked and ready to put in the oven and go. It was so good. I haven't had green stuffed peppers in quite a while. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm either going to I need to make the stuffed pepper because it's going to get ripe. It's already turning yellow on the top. And I think it's because I have it sitting right next to my ripening bananas, which sends off something. I forget. Ripening fruit sends off something, and I forget what the name of it is. But anything around it, it will also start to ripen. So bananas do that. So my bananas are starting to ripen. And I think that's what made my pepper turn already. Because yesterday it was completely green. And now it has some little bit of yellow and a little bit of red on it. So, it's sitting there getting more and more ripe. So I've got to, I'm going to do that today. So I should make something also for dessert. Although when I sent for my groceries and I picked up my groceries, I got a big container of their chocolate chip cookies, Giant Eagle chocolate chip cookies. They're very good. And of course, ice cream I got. I'll tell you about, I went to the curbside delivery, and each time I've gone, this is, I think, the 4th time I've done this. And the first 3 times I had a woman or a girl that picked my groceries for me. And then they bring them out and put them in your trunk. So, I mean, you fill out your order online, you pay online and everything. So this time I had a young guy picking up my groceries. So when I call in to tell them I'm there, they tell you what they have, what they didn't have, and if you wanted to substitute something else. So they didn't have my regular mint chocolate chip ice cream by Pierre's. That's the one I like. And they didn't have butter pecan again. So boo. So he says, do you want me to go back there and see what they have and try to substitute? I said, yeah, go pick me out something good. Because I had ordered those 2 kinds. Well, he comes out and he holds up 2 cartons, exactly the same, of another brand of mint chocolate chip. I don't want 2 of the same kind, but I didn't want to send the poor guy back in the store again to hunt for another kind, but I took them. So now I have 2 gallons of mint chocolate chip with the bigger chunks. I don't like those because they don't melt in your mouth like the Pierre's does. But I'll struggle through eating it. I had a dish last night, wasn't too bad. Anyway, yeah, I have things to make some apple, what do they call it? Apple crumble. The cooked apples with the crumble on the top. I could make that. I could make a cake. Oh, they didn't have the dry yeast. This is the second time I've ordered packets of dry yeast that they didn't have it. So he substituted fresh yeast. They come in a block. I've never used that. Never. I don't even know how to use it. But just before I came on here, I looked it up on Google, and there's plenty of things on how to use this fresh yeast. Of course, it doesn't keep as long. The expiration date is in June already. So I have to use this up, and it's 2 blocks, and I think each block is equal to 3 packets. So that's a lot of yeast. So I have to learn how to use this yeast and make something. You know, Michael Simon, the chef, has been making his family recipes on Instagram. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, we're very well acquainted with Michael Simon. Yeah. Yes, I've been to his restaurant. Yeah, this book it has some old recipes in here. I used to have a, 3x5 container, 3x5 card container with even more old recipes. I don't know where that is. I'm sure I haven't thrown it away, but I'm not sure where it is. Oh, my lawnmower guy is here. He called this morning and says he was going to come by and do at least my front and side yard. That's what's growing all of a sudden. That's what grows fast in the spring. The backyard hardly needs cut yet, but the front yard and the side yard, I mean, it's getting high, so he needs to cut it before it starts clogging up his mower. So, yeah, I didn't know what I was really going to talk about today. I had a good Sunday and Monday in sales. I hit $100 each day of sales, not what I made, but what I sold. And then yesterday and so far today, I've only sold 1 or 2 things. So, it's up and down all the time. And another thing, my deck, okay. I called the guy that's building my deck, or was building my deck, because he has about probably a third of the wood at his house, because he got it from his Home Depot, and it's at his house. And I think all the deck screws he has too. So we've had several nice warm days where I thought I'd hear from him at least. If I would have at least heard from him. you know, I know we're not, I mean, the weather is still iffy, but there are some nice days, and there's been 2 and 3 day stretches where it's dried out, and he could have very well been working on this deck. But I didn't hear a word. So I called him because, first of all, I was talking to my daughter, and she says, your son is at home. He certainly knows how to build that flat deck. He built this humongous pool surround decking, this gorgeous thing at his own house, all by himself. He's a construction guy. So he certainly won't have any trouble doing this deck. And she says, why don't you just have Carl, that's my son, work on the deck? So I called John. He's the guy that started the deck and then stopped early in the fall. And he had promised me it would be done by winter, which it wasn't near done. Only the tiny back porch is done. So I called him and I just asked him, would you please bring out the rest of the wood and the hardware that you have that's mine, that I've paid for? Please bring it out to the house. And he says, well, I'm not going to bring it out till the weather breaks and I'm going to start on the deck. I says, no, I want it out to my house now. I says, my son is laid off from work and he could work on the deck while he's off work. I don't know how long he's going to be off work. And he could at least work on the deck while he's off. Now, I hadn't even okayed this with my son. But immediately, John got mad. I think he was saying, you don't have the job anymore. Forget about it. That's not what I was saying. All I wanted is him to bring the wood out, okay, to have everything here. I mean, I paid for it. It should be here. So he got very huffy right away, and he says, well, if he brings the wood out, that's it. You can get somebody else. I don't know exactly the words he said, but this is what he meant. I'm not going to do the deck, or you can get somebody else to do the deck, or whatever he meant. I said, just bring the wood out. So he says, fine, you'll have it by this weekend. And he hung up on me. Now, this isn't the kind of relationship that we had. I'm feeling bad that he got mad, but that's on him, you know. It's really, if he would have just contacted me or talked to me about it, you know, instead of saying the weather hasn't even broken, you can't expect me to work in this. Well, I can remember him telling me he's not afraid to work when it's 50 degrees out. Well, we've had lots of 50-degree weather, sunny. So I don't know. Anything like that upsets me. My daughter's upset that I'm upset. So then I called my son. Now he's not happy about having to come out here and work on this deck either, but he's not doing anything else. And I think the kids are probably driving him nuts by now. And I said, could you at least come out and look at the job and see what you can do for me? So he asked me if I had the saw and everything out here. I said no. He took all his tools home. You know, I don't have anything. I don't have a circular saw. I don't have a sawzall. I don't have anything that he used out here. But my son has tools. So he says, well, I'm not coming out till he brings all the wood back, brings everything back. So that's where we stand right now. I don't know what's going to happen. That was one thing I was upset about yesterday. I didn't have a good day. I think I emailed one good thing that happened, Bumblebee sent me an email and asked me if I wanted a box, box to open. I said, yes, I'm always wanting you to send me a box. So she says, I'll put it in the mail tomorrow, which would have been today, I think, or maybe yes, I don't know. So I have a box coming in the next few days. So that's good. And then I sort of told her what happened, emailed her, what happened. I said, I was just having sort of a pissed off day. And I think that's probably how I felt when I called him. So I don't know. Maybe just the sound of my voice made him mad. I don't know. But he can't be mad at me. I gave him all last spring and summer and fall to do this deck. And all I've gotten is this tiny little back porch. So my daughter thinks he's not mad at me. He's mad at himself that he may lose the job. I don't know. I don't want to lose his wife either, Teresa. So she may be mad at me now too. I don't know. I don't need this anxiety on top of everything else. So I don't even know why I'm telling you all this, just to get off my chest. I think this is one of the ways I'm dealing with this whole quarantine thing, is being online, talking to people online. Yeah, the wood should be here. You're right. You just got a box of Norwegian cookbooks from my mom's cousin. Ooh, her family is all Norwegian, so I'll have to try some. Oh, that'll be interesting. Your sales were up too? Good. Yeah. I'm hoping this is sort of a turnaround. People are starting to get their stimulus checks. I listened to something online, or no, it was on the news today, that the people on Social Security that have their things put to the bank, which mine does, they were going to start sending them out May 1st. So hopefully mine will come. I have no idea when my daughter will get hers. But I plan on giving my check to my daughter because she has no paycheck or anything right now. Her horse is at an even more expensive place than my horses are. Of course, I have two at my place. She has one, but still, it's very expensive. And she has no money. And that's the only thing that's keeping her sane, is she goes to the barn every single day still. But there's only like 6 people that go to the barn, and they all go at different times. So she is doing the social distancing, but she gets to see her horse every day. And I could do that too. I could go to the barn when there's no one there. I could. It's just my own brain that's keeping me from leaving the house, except to be in my car. I know it would probably be safe going to the barn and just going to be with my horses. I know that would be safe. But I'm going to have to be touching an awful lot of things, especially metal things at the barn. And yes, I can wash my hands. I can wear gloves. I can wear a mask. It probably would be good for me to go to the barn. But even going to the grocery store and talking through the window to this guy about the ice cream. Now, he was way back. He stayed his 6 feet back even from the car. And we shouted back and forth through the window. Even doing that made me feel better. I had a big wait to go in to before it was my time to get in line for this. So I sat in the parking lot out front of the big giant Eagle grocery store, and I was just observing people. The parking lot is fairly full of people going into the store, and I was just watching, and probably a third of the people, maybe a quarter of the people going into the store were men. The rest were women. Almost every woman was wearing a mask. And out of all the men that went in, one had a mask on. The rest didn't. What is it about guys? I don't know. And my son is like it. It took him forever to finally get talked into staying home from his construction job, where I'm sure none of those guys are staying 6 feet apart from each other. And but it took me and his wife at him every single day to stay home, because his employer said if anybody doesn't feel safe, they can stay home and still get their full unemployment. She wouldn't stop it, even though the job is still going. Of course the job is still going. It's owned by, that building is owned by, what is his name? You'd know it if I told it. He's a billionaire. He's the one that owns the casino downtown in Cleveland. He owns the Cavs basketball team. That guy. Of course, they're not going to close off his construction site. But different companies, different construction companies are working in there. So my son works for a small woman-owned construction company, and he's worked for her for years. And I know her. She knows me. I think he finally told her that his mother, when she knows me, was having a fit that he was still at work. So she told him to stay home and collect his unemployment. So he's been home for the last at least couple weeks now. So I'm going to, I've started to FaceTime them. At least that's better than just calling. Because I can see the grandkids and I can see everybody then, sort of. Although half the time they have their phone pointed at the ceiling, I have to keep reminding them, look into the phone once in a while. That's why I'm doing this. So, what else? Nothing else is happening. I mean, I am going to do a small load of wash in my little mini washing machine after this. I've done, since the demonstration one that I had put on YouTube, I've done 3 or 4 different washings. I just do every other day, I just throw a few things in. And I have learned that I can use a lot more water in there than I thought in the beginning. So that makes it much better. I can use a lot more water, which lets me use a little more soap. And I found out there's a way to also, you can rinse the way I was rinsing in the wash tub, but you can also rinse, you can spin the things in the spinner, and then you can put water in there and rinse that way and spin it out, put water in there, spin it out. You can do that. I may try that this time. But I do a wash every couple days, so I only have 2 or 3 or 4 things to put in, so I don't have a big basket full of stuff. And it's sort of fun, I have to admit. It's like washing, it's like playing. It's like a toy, a little toy washing machine. And it spins dry so well that it's barely damp. And thank goodness my dryer is still working. Because we haven't had that many sunny days that I can hang things out. So my dryer's working, and it just takes minutes to dry things. They're so damp dry when they come out of the spinner. So I don't know. That's about all I have today. Just wanted to come check in. Karen, thanks for joining me. Did you get a notice? Because my sister isn't here. She usually comes on if she gets notified. Bumblebee also, and she's in here, so I wonder if the notifications went out or not. So I will be on hopefully in the next couple days with a box to open. That's always exciting. It'll give me more to list, because I'm out of things to list unless I go and list breakable things. It's back in that closet. But I have no more clothes to list right now. I do have a couple pieces of jewelry, but I haven't really sold any jewelry, have I? No. So far, I've only, the only thing I've done so far today is I shared my closet once. I have to go back and follow and share some people. And then I try to share my closet in the morning and then in the evening, later in the evening. Somebody said that they have better luck sharing their closet in the late evening. So that's what I've been sort of doing. Thank you, Karen, for helping me share my closet. So I will close for now. Go find out what to do with this yeast cake and go wash a little load of clothes. Exciting day. So I will see you. Bye.